40 boxes, another 3 to go. That's it, first 4 pallets are in. 160 boxes, 440, yeah, 160. Fan running at the back to circulate the air. And there we go. Temperature's currently at, well, you pick it up there, reading 50 degrees there. Thermometer there and one down there. So we shut these doors up, and the heater on. The cardboard tags on each pallet, just a note of date and time that each pallet was put in here, and then I use them in rotation. Obviously give them as long in here as possible, allow the warmth to seep through the wood, through the boxes and into the combs of honey themselves. It isn't set at a hot temperature, it's, I don't know if you can view that on there, but that's reading just below 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Swales, honeycomb. Swales, if that's how you pronounce it, it's the name of the company. It's a Norwegian machine, this. And honeycomb, presumably it's honey loosener. The trouble with the heather honey is, it's what they call thixotropic. In other words, it's a gel. And to try and extract it in the way you would any other honey, can't be done. First of all, the honey in the comb has to be loosened, it has to be agitated. And this machine does that. So there we are, sealed comb of heather honey. That side isn't so well sealed, but that's a gel. There's no way that's going to come out of the comb without going through this machine first. And I'd just like to show you from above. It's 2 banks of plastic needles, spring-loaded needles, that come together, pierce the honeycomb, and also with this ratchet, each time the comb moves along. The needles don't move, but this cradle at the top does. And that ensures that each time you press the handle, those needles go into a slightly different part of the comb. Do that 6 times, and that ensures that every cell has been pierced and the honey within is agitated. If you just look at the back here, and I'll show you the spring loaded, the spring needle, the springs there, and that's so that if any of the needles hit a hard piece of wood, the frame, or some granulated honey, the springs allow the needles to retract rather than break. I do have a few broken needles on here, but this is an old machine. I've had it 20 plus years. It was second hand when I bought it. It's a bit tired. I could do with a new one really, but it still does a good job. We'll load the comb into the cradle there. We then pull that back, and this ratchet moves it across 6 times. 1. Each time the handle goes up, that ratchet goes and moves the cradle along a little bit. You do that 6 times, I usually give it a 7th for luck. That ensures all the comb is pierced by the plastic needles, which loosens the honey. It agitates it and turns that thixotropic gel that is heather honey into a liquid. Left long enough, it will reform as a gel state and you can't extract it. Comb in, pull the cradle back. Just give me hands away off, it's sticky. Each time I press the handle and bring it back up, it moves across. So that ensures every cell gets pierced by a needle at least once. It's what we call a swing cage extractor. So the rotating part of this has 8 cages like that in it, and each cage will hold 2 combs of honey. Now if this was flower honey, spring or summer, the honey can be extracted by simply holding the combs like the spokes of a wheel, all facing towards the centre of the drum. However, that doesn't create enough gravitational force to remove heather honey. Even after it's been through the loosener, it requires greater force. And that can be achieved by turning the face of the comb perpendicular to the direction of travel, and then the honey will come out easily. It's the only way of doing heather honey. So this machine does it automatically. If it spins one way, all the cages swing like that to give what we call tangential as opposed to radial extraction. Then it stops and sets off in the other way, and all these cages swing back and do the other side of the comb. We have it set on a 6-cycle program. I'll show you the control box in a minute. So basically it sets off one way and builds up just a gentle speed. Stops, comes back the other way and achieves the same speed. Stops, goes back the original way, getting slightly faster, and it does that 3 times each way, 6 cycles in total. And the reason behind that is a full comb of honey can be very, very heavy, and if you were to take one side only up to full speed, the weight of the honey on the opposing side would completely destroy the comb. So this way you're taking a bit out of each side, bit at a time, and less damage to the comb. Some of the combs do still get bent and bored and a little bit damaged, but by doing this it reduces it an awful lot. On the control box here, this is a German machine, Karl Fritz. We run it on automatic, and the program we're using is number 5, which is this one. So basically that's showing going one way up to a certain speed, slowing back down to a stop. The line along the straight line is the dead stop point. It then goes the other way up to a certain speed and stops. Next cycle, the original way, faster, second way, faster, and so on, until it achieves top speed, maximum speed, both ways. I can alter the slowest revs and the maximum revs. The maximum revs go up to about 300, but at 300 revs a minute we are doing some damage to combs, so I run it about 240, 250, something like that. And then this is the timer, and we run the full cycle in 12 minutes. I've experimented and done all sorts, and it seems to work. It seems to work at 12 minutes. The extractor can bend them a little bit for that last spin, so just flatten them out a bit that way. Otherwise, come next spring, they're all shit. That's fine. Side. The process does leave the comb looking a bit battered and bruised. There's an example of how it bores in. Shove that back out like that. Put these back on the hive next spring, they start like this over winter. And within a few days, the bees have repaired all that damaged comb, and it's back as good as new. Always amazes me how they do it. They do it every year, never let me down yet. New comb does suffer a bit, that's just... It's a bit not tough enough new comb, that's a problem. Better with the older stuff. We do regularly, throughout the day, check the moisture content of the honey, and we use the refractometer. Uses the refractive index of light. Sample out the top of here. We just spread it over the prism there. Close the lid over it. Seal, and then hold this up to the light, the eyepiece looking towards the light. Yeah, just below 20%. There, momentarily. Right hand side scale, where the blue meets the clear, that's where we read off. You can see it is just below 20%. That's quite acceptable for heather honey. Flower honey, spring and summer, I like below 18 or 18% or below. Heather honey legally has to be below 23%. It contains more moisture, heather honey, than any other honey. So yeah, below 20%, I'm quite happy at that. Those are the last 4 pallets of heather honey that have got to be extracted. That's the last of them now in the warming room. The end is in sight. Thank you for watching that. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please tap like and subscribe. And if you ring the bell, you'll get notifications of future videos. Thank you. Bye for now.